Hola amigos y amigas, I am Miss Bohemia and we're continuing with my wheel series. So today's video is my wheel journey part 2 featuring the Pearl Luminous wheels. In my past video I talked about the Luminous cotton candy wheels and you can view that video here. And I'll give you a super simple, simpler than in that previous video, intro to why I am on a wheel journey. I own 3 pairs of Moxie Lollies and these are the wheels for each Moxie Lolly pair that I own in the color that I own them in. And again, anything and everything that I mentioned about my roller skates and my roller skate journey that I may have filmed or put out there, you can view in my playlist here. And so the Moxie gummy wheels are huge. They're the biggest, softest wheels that you can find on the market. They are 78A durometer 65mm wheels. I have gotten pretty used to really dancing indoors and outdoors and sliding and gliding and doing really well with the pineapple lolly ones because I kind of wore them in for 2 years outside, and so they do great inside because I've worn down the stickiness of the wheels. But with these two, forget it. This one I only used once. This is brand new, never used, so they're super sticky. I do not do well with them indoors, meaning that 78 durometer wheels are meant for the outdoors. They're not the best wheels for indoor. And part of my journey was, well, am I going to be able to dance better or drill better when I'm indoors at home if I had proper indoor wheels? And this was before like really delving in and reading up on wheels, etc. I was hell-bent on getting the Luminous wheels because if I had to pay a ton for wheels, because wheels are not cheap, I might as well get some that light up. So I got the Luminous wheels, I got the cotton candy ones, which I featured in my previous video, and then these ones, the Pearl Luminous wheels. They are a harder durometer than the cotton candy ones, and they're smaller. They're 57 or 58mm wheels, and they came in at 97A durometer. So they're pretty hard. I feel that they are true to what they claim to be, because oftentimes that's another thing to keep in mind. A wheel might have a durometer rating, classification, I don't know what that's called, but it might not really be that true number. It all depends on the brand and how they classify their wheels. But I feel that with the Luminous, the 97A classification was pretty much on point. They were pretty hard, and Lord, I was slipping and sliding on the floor with them. I ended up not keeping them just because I didn't like dealing with the spacer. And that's one thing, if you don't know, regular wheels, you have a bearing on one side, a bearing on the other side. I mean, all wheels have a bearing on both sides. With light up wheels, in the middle, in between the bearings, you have what's called a spacer. It stays in place magnetically, and that's what's responsible for making the wheel light up. But with Luminous wheels, and I'm guessing other wheels, I've only tried Luminous wheels, they make this area a little thicker, so when you put the wheel on the trucks and you put the axle nut to tighten them up, they take up more space, so you have to reverse the axle nut to properly lock that onto the wheel, because if you put it in the regular way, it doesn't lock. You have the axle nut sticking out over the thread, and so it's very loose. The wheels are not secure, could fly off, and it defeats the point of having wheels on your roller skate if you can't keep them on. So if you reverse it, it clicks the locking mechanism in spite of the fact that the nut might be sticking off the trucks, and so it's fine, and there's a way to fix it. But every light up wheel, because of the fact that they have a spacer, you're not going to get the most optimal roll out of them. So I kind of regretted buying light up wheels. It's not a luxury to have all these different wheels just because, and to wear them and try them at your whim, because they're expensive. I mean, unless you're rich, then hats off to you, have all the wheels you want, but I can't have all the wheels I want, and so I decided to not keep it. And I'm still, as of this point, on the search for the perfect indoor wheel that works for me. And that's another thing, wheels are very subjective to the user. And so why was I not fully gelling with these? At that time when I tried them out, the hardness was just a huge jump from 78A durometer to those wheels. I wasn't used to it. I tried them out for quite a bit, slipping and sliding on my floor, and eventually I came to appreciate the hardness. But it was still like, I felt like I was fighting it so much. Like my toes were like this inside my skates all the time. My feet were hurting after skating. It was just like stressful, physically stressful for me. I don't feel like I'm psychologically and physically at a space yet where I can handle wheels of that durometer, or at that time I really couldn't, so I sold them. But what a friend of mine, a friend on Instagram had suggested, and she's absolutely right, is it would have been ideal had I had the time and forethought and wanted to, and not on the fence about whether I was going to keep them or not. If you want to keep your wheels but they slip and slide a little too much, try using them outside, because sometimes wearing them down a little on outside surfaces might help for them to not be that slip and slidey and slippery indoors. So that's what I would have recommended. I am not averse to the smaller, harder Luminous wheel. I didn't like the bigger Garnier Luminous wheel. They didn't do very well for dancing, but this one was okay for dancing. I could do my moves. I felt confident in them. The size was good. I just personally wasn't ready for that slip factor, and so I sold them. But the brand overall is a good brand. I recommend them. They offer a good variety of colors, of sizes, and durometers, so you can play around with that a little and find something that's to your liking. And that's pretty much my experience with the Luminous brand as of right now. So if you have any insight to offer, any suggestions, any recommendations, I am all ears. And stay tuned because I have a shit ton of videos coming up because it's been quite a journey with wheels for me. So stay tuned for my next video. And thank you so much for tuning into this one. If you liked it, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay tuned for more. And I hope to see you in my next one. Ciao for now.